Welcome back to the show, everybody. Well, what about an XRP ETF? We're going to talk about it. What about this? Google and Flare networks. Hello, we're going to cover it. And how does Ripple always find their way to places like Davos, the World Economic Forum, and come up in conversations with the IMF and the BIS? Well, you know what? We're going to take a look at it. Somebody roll that beautiful intro.
Digital Perspectives with Brad Kimes. Come on in.
Welcome back to the show. You can follow us on Twitter and YouTube for exclusive content. Right now, $1.75 trillion market cap for crypto. The market is off by 1.3%. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are. 42,200 plus for Bitcoin right now. 2,500 plus for Ethereum, 94.6 billion plus for Tether market cap. We see the number 6 spot is XRP at 57 cents. We're off by 1.4 in the 24-hour, up by 1.1 on the 7-day. Range of price, not much better here as we're on the bottom at 57 cents to 59 cents. We are sitting currently at the bottom ranging of price. Not liking it. I know you're not liking it. I'm not liking it either. But you know what? If you watched the video from this morning, and over the last few days, even the last 2 weeks rather, you will know, regardless of the price slipping down now at the moment, you will know that there is a call for $1.20 within 30 days. There's a call for $5 plus within 90 days, right? And then there's even people calling for a $14 to $15 XRP in the short term as well. So we will keep an eye on it regardless of this slip in price today. We'll see what happens. I love when they're able to give us some time brackets to look forward to. And listen, I don't hold these guys accountable like, well, you said this, that, or the other. Listen, it's very hard for the technical analysts, and that's why I appreciate them so much. And the real deal is this for me. You know, I like knowing that these are windows of opportunity that the chart tools are showing us, right? So it's a moment to pay attention to, not to hang your hat on as a do or die moment. You just look at the information and see if it shapes out. But let me tell you what is shaping out. It's XRP Las Vegas 2024, and this is no joke. It is the largest XRP conference in the world. If you want to see David Schwartz on stage in person, you can do it at this conference. If you want to hear what is going on with the most important digital dollar project, the United States Digital Dollar Project, you can hear co-founder Chris Giancarlo, the Honorable Chris Giancarlo, on stage talking about it. Perry Ann Boring, who has been working tirelessly on Capitol Hill as a lobbyist for this space to help everyone get this innovation to a place where it is no longer under threat of regulators like Gary Gensler or a lack of legislation on Capitol Hill. You're going to hear all of that, and we got so much more coming too. But take a quick listen to this.
It's going to be bigger than last year, I can promise you that.
Yes, sir. Go.
I think everything into the future will be tokenized. Basic means of being able to allocate ownership of different assets can now be done through a series of tokens or a series of contracts.
Anybody that was there last year would tell you it was awesome. This coming year, in May 2024, is going to be twice as awesome. Write it down.
No question about it. It is going to be awesome. And shout out to Mike Jansen for putting that together for us. And let me tell you, you have the opportunity to meet Brad Garlinghouse in person at a fundraiser dinner that is being hosted by the Chamber of Digital Commerce. It's called the Future of Digital Assets benefit dinner, and you will be able to meet and have dinner with Brad Garlinghouse, Michael Arrington, Honorable Chris Giancarlo, John Deaton, and probably a few others in there. You might even see me there. Yeah, I'm not going to miss that opportunity. Make sure you get your tickets for all of these events and do not miss out because it is going to be incredible and I don't want you to miss out. Links are underneath the video. The Future of Digital Assets Benefit Dinner is also tax deductible and you can click on that right on the website. AMLA says XRP ETF expected to launch in April 2024. BlackRock Grayscale plans revealed. Well, listen, we don't know the answer here officially, and I'm hoping to hear something in the near term from one of these entities. But we can't rule out that, for one, as James Seifert has said, they're in the natural progression of these spot Bitcoin ETFs, or spot ETFs, I should say. History's past has shown that we've had the future ETF before we get the spot ETF. So we don't have that here in the US. So we might not see that until we see the introduction of a futures ETF. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean that it has to go that way. As James Seifert has also said, we may need a little action from Congress on Congress's part, right? It may take an act of Congress to get it done, literally. Right? So there are a lot of things that are in play. Remember, stablecoin legislation could be coming by April of this year, according to Representative French Hill and the efforts of Patrick McHenry as well. We will see if that gets through or attached to a larger bill. This is going to be a next big step for us if we get those things. We will see. And who knows what's planned for XRP? Maybe it's not an ETF. Maybe it's something else. Maybe the ETF's already filed. And that's why Larry Fink from BlackRock didn't want to talk about it. I don't know. But you know what? Google and Flare Networks want to talk about this. Google Cloud has joined the Flare Networks as a validator and infrastructure provider. I don't know about you, but this is freaking huge news to me. I can tell you that. Good Morning Crypto says here, Google Cloud has officially joined the Flare blockchain ecosystem as one of the 100 key players. Google Cloud is set to secure the network as a validator and contribute to the Flare Time Series Oracle, known as FTSO. Again, this is a big step forward, I believe. So shout out to Hugo, shout out to Flare Networks, shoulder down, head down, shoulder to the grindstone. This is how you get stuff done right here. Now, look at this. This is the IMF Managing Director, Kristalina Georgieva, says crypto is not money. I remind you, words mean things. XRP is not cryptocurrency. XRP is a digital asset, and it is not a security. Take a listen to this.
Is what we see in crypto. What is the IMF's view on crypto in what looks to be a very unique moment for this investable asset?
Our view is that we have to differentiate between money and assets. When we talk about crypto, we are actually talking about an asset class. It could be backed up, and in that sense more secure, less risky, or it could be not backed up and therefore a riskier investment. But it is not exactly money. It's more like a money managed fund. So when we look at money, there we have the central bank digital currencies, and they are indeed a digitalized form of money. Is it possible to have the private sector play a role in this area? Yes, of course. Private sector has played a role throughout the history of money. But we have to be very careful to inform the public about what exactly in front of them the private sector has placed. I like the notion that we can enhance the payment systems with private sector participation. But we have to be careful not to mislead the public that crypto is equivalent in all cases of money.
So that was Kristalina Georgieva, the current managing director of the IMF. This is Christine Lagarde, the president of the European Central Bank and formerly the managing director of the IMF. And this is what she said, and why I remind everyone that XRP is different than the other cryptos. And this is why she mentions, I believe, the company Ripple and Circle in the same breath.
changes happening now. If you think of Circle and Ripples and all those, that's where they are active and helpful.
That's where they're active and helpful. And this was said during her time as the as the IMF director before Kristalina Georgieva joined in. So how does Ripple get to a place where they're able to be in this conversation? You don't get to just go to the IMF and say, yeah, I'd like to take a meeting. You don't just get to go to the Federal Reserve and say, hey, I think we could help solve some of the problems with payments, and the other banks, respectively, and governments around the world. Take a listen to this quick clip here.
Holding a dollar, you're selling that dollar and buying XRP. You're moving that XRP across the XRP ledger. You're selling the XRP and you're buying Mexican peso. In a world of hype, in a world of experimentation, we feel like XRP is the only digital asset really poised to solve a problem at scale, a global payments problem. You're holding a dollar, you're selling that dollar.
A global payments problem, and it's valued in the trillions. That's how you get there. But not just there. They're also going to be, right now, attending the World Economic Forum in Davos for a very, very important conversation. Clear-eyed about crypto, Brad Garlinghouse right here will be speaking on January 18th. Shout out to Brad. While some nations view digital currencies as the foundation of an innovation economy and a new, more inclusive financial system in society, others are banning crypto altogether. How can regulators simultaneously promote innovation while protecting the consumer, and what does sensible regulation look like? And who's a part of the conversation? It's Brad Garlinghouse. That's who. Then there's the BIS. Think about the level of these entities we're looking at and have looked at off and on for years now. But now we're in a moment where the world needs this technology to begin to be implemented and applied. The proof of concepts have been done, right? Now it's time to go to work with putting this in their business models. Leveraging ISO 20022, and this is from the BIS, and that's mainly why I'm showing it to you, talking about distributed ledger technology, understanding the difference between Ripple and how it utilizes XRP and the XRP ledger, which is an independent of Ripple, and we know that. This is what got me back in the day. I first found Ripple and XRP. I found them because I was a global importer and a professional musician for 30 years, entrepreneur, invented a product, and I had to learn how to globally import that product from China. And in that process, I quickly found out what the concerns and the problems with a messaging system for sending money and messages around the world known as SWIFT was. And that was in 2017 for me, and this is from back in 2015. Ripple Labs joins Fed's Faster Payments Task Force. And this is where it comes in that I believe that it was probably, and I'm speculating, it's probably, if I had to go about it, it was probably Greg Kidd, who came from the Federal Reserve to work at Ripple, that began to open the doors and get the meetings and sit-downs. Because I've said for many years, I believe Ripple was as much commissioned as it was started as a company. I even said in my first video this morning, to deal with the spillover shocks of hyperinflation and overprinting of money, that may be the reason that we're seeing stablecoin legislation possibly passed in Q1 of this year, to help serve as a sponge to soak up those dollars and back that digital stablecoin to an actual value of $1. We don't know, I'm speculating. But what I do know is there's no way that Ripple gets into these places like the World Economic Forum, the BIS, mentioned by the IMF, World Bank, and other entities around the world, governments and central banks alike. We all know the list, without first getting it right here at home. And this has always stuck with me. Now, take a look at this. This here, shared by the Crypto Dip, says Crypto Hawk blocked us for no reason. build that boat for a lot more, because he blocked me too. And apparently people send me messages telling me he hates my guts. He knows nothing about me. I know nothing about him. I hope he's a gazillionaire, and I hope his channel's got 80 million views. I don't know nothing about the guy. But what I do know is that he's found something very similar here in this video, where he shows that Ripple is in fact a federal contractor or subcontractor by the U.S. Treasury, he says. But here's what I found. And I'll go into this. This is on Ripple's site for Ripple careers, right? And it says senior software engineer. And basically what he did is he scrolled down as if you're going to fill out the application. And down in this, if you go to voluntary self-identification of disability, why are you being asked to complete this form? It says, we are a federal contractor or subcontractor. The law requires us to provide equal employment opportunity to qualified people with disabilities. So the question is, they're saying that they are a federal contractor or subcontractor, which leans heavily into the idea that I've said I felt like, you know, Ripple is as much commissioned as it is started as a company. Now that's on Ripple's site. You see it right here, right? So shout out to Crypto Hawk for that one. I have no idea why this guy doesn't like me, but I could care less. Happy New Year to him. Give him a follow. That's how much I don't even care, right? Just give the guy a follow. I mean, maybe that's it. Maybe he just wants followers. I don't know what the hell it is. But anyway, happy 2024 to him. Buy the crypto dip and everybody else. But I tell you this, when you're wondering how Ripple is able to make these connections, you have to come back to a place like this where you say to yourself, how much is the federal government behind the actions of Ripple, because it could help to replace the Federal Reserve or complement the Federal Reserve, well, however you like to say it. And what about SWIFT? We know it's just messaging. It's not actual transmission of value itself. You know, as many times I've even entertained the notion that obviously Ripple could be a much better version of SWIFT because it does way more than SWIFT is capable of doing. However you want to see it, I think of these large things. I even did a diagram at one point. I probably should have brought it up today, but I just want to highlight this. Think of the macro things that we're watching happen here. SWIFT is upgrading to ISO 20022, which allows for the coding and transmission of digital assets and value along with that messaging system. So that whole coding is in cooperation of moving that digital value from one person entity to another. Then think about the DTCC and ISDA, International Swaps Derivative Association. Ripple joined them to help settle over $2 quadrillion worth of tokenized derivatives going forward. And the DTC has bought Securrency, which has also stated that they will use things like Ripple and XRP technology to help settle transactions. So think about it. You got SWIFT revamping happen, RippleNet, which is a better version, more efficient, and can do more things than SWIFT could even dream of doing. Then the DTC upgrading, buying and acquiring a company that clearly says they're going to use assets and technology like Ripple's technology. Then all the way back to 2015, you have Ripple basically joining the Federal Reserve's Faster Payments Task Force, creating the best argument to understand that they were just as much commissioned as they were a startup. And then here's Ripple on their site here. You got to know that they're a federal contractor or subcontractor. That's where we're at today. I hope you'll join us in the Freedom Zone, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah. Oh, we do it inside of here now. Now, we tackled a topic today of a global reset. We've heard about the NESARA and JASARA, the national reset, and then a global versus a global reset. Well, you know, I've experienced censorship because I tackle these topics. And if you don't believe me, you can go to my profile of my page on YouTube and see that there is no thumbnail for the video that's pinned. And that is because I had that on my thumbnail and YouTube took it down. That's the kind of censorship we're talking about. And it gets much worse from there. There's no question if you stray too far. There is no freedom of speech on social media platforms. Period. End of story. Full stop. And if there is, it's because they're collecting a dossier on you, and it's just so they can formulate how they want to deal with you later. Right? That's what's happening. Join us in the Freedom Zone. Not financial advice from me or anyone else. I'll catch all of you on the next one.